look on the bright side, you're going to get some career videos. And now that there's a travel advisory, which includes the United States, I'm home and going to be home for quite a while apparently, as everything's kind of locked down in everywhere. So uh, everybody stay safe. Let's talk about Patrik Elias. Patrik Elias, who was drafted by the New Jersey Devils 51st overall in 1994. And what's interesting is that he does spend his entire career, 20 years, with the New Jersey Devils. And it's an amazing achievement. Now, I'm going to put him in the THG Hall of Fame for a simple reason. I don't know that he gets into the NHL Hall of Fame, right? Because we've got guys who are outside the Hall of Fame, which are, to me, kind of baffling. McGillney's the one that really stands out. Rowan kind of stands out as well. Uh, Curtis Joseph stands out to me. So there are certain guys who've put up some really good stats for a really long time in their careers who aren't in the National Hockey League's, well, the Hockey Hall of Fame. I say Hockey Hall of Fame because it's not technically NHL Hall of Fame, but kind of is. So if you don't play in the NHL, it's a lot harder to get into it. I'm talking about like the European players and whatnot. So he came in kind of unheralded. And his first season, 95-96, he only plays the one game. 96-97, he only plays 17. So he's still a rookie entering year 3. And that year 2, he only had 2 goals and 3 assists. So again, not a lot said about him. But 97-98, when he came in, he had 18 goals, 19 assists, 37 points, 74 games played. He's third in Calder voting that year. So the Devils know they have a good young player. And he would have an excellent career from that point going forward. 98-99, 74 games played, 17 goals, 33 assists, 50 points for a Devils team not known for scoring points and goals. So in the overall grand scheme of things, he's playing very well, again, for a team that's not really a goal scorer. Think of Barzal right now with the Islanders and how many more points Matthew Barzal would score if he played on a team that was more wide open. Clayton Keller with the Arizona Coyotes is another example. How many points would these guys score if they were in systems that were offensively run, like in Edmonton Oilers, where it's go out and score, and which is weird because Tippett's their coach, but still. So Elias was kind of in that position back then. 99-2000, this is his breakthrough. He was on the same line as Peter Sikora and Jason Arnott. They put together a pretty good run towards a Stanley Cup. They would win that. 72 games, 35 goals, 37 assists, 72 points. He arrived that year. He only had one game-winning goal in the playoffs, but that line was fantastic. 7 goals, 13 assists, 20 points in 23 games for him. And remember, as I said, this was a team that won with defense. This was a team that won. Now, it was a more wide-open bunch, it felt like, in 2000 than the one that won in 95. There was a little bit more offense allowed there, thus the 35 goals for Elias and whatnot. But it was still pretty solid defensively. Pretty stingy with the shots against for the most part. Now, 2000-2001, he set a Devils record that stands to this day. The New Jersey Devils have never had a 100-point scorer, in part because of systems played in past decades. Now, 82 games, 40 goals, which was 10th in the NHL, 56 assists, which was 9th that season, 93 points, which was 3rd. He ends up being on the first team All-Star for the NHL, and he's 6th in Hart voting. This is his best season offensively, and this is part of the reason why I'm putting him in my Hall of Fame, and I'm not anticipating going to the NHL Hall of Fame, because he was very good throughout his career. The Hall of Fame should be for the players that are seen as being great and for an extended period. That's why there's some debate as to whether or not the Sedins would get in. Because despite them being great to Canuck fans, there's some debate about whether or not they were good enough. Luongo could be the same thing. Could be he didn't win the Vezina. No. So this is where that dividing line is. And really, since it's all subjective, we can all have differing debates on this and differing opinions. Now, after that record season, they went to the Stanley Cup final again, but 2001, 2002, we see it drop in his points, which is fine. 75 games, 29 goals, 32 assists, 61 points. Not bad. Pretty good numbers. Remember, this is the dead puck era. So the numbers you see here would be inflated in today's game and would have been totally inflated back in the 80s. 02-03, 81 games played, 28 goals, 29 assists, 57 points. He wins the Stanley Cup that year as well. 24 games, 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points. It's noteworthy that 2 of the 5 goals were game winners. And Elias, a big part of their identity at that point. Can't imagine the team without Elias. Keep that in mind as we go through this. 0304 plays 82 games. He's fourth in the NHL in goals with 38. Again, this is dead puck era. 38 goals, was fourth overall in the National Hockey League. 43 assists and 81 points. 81 points was sixth. Now, you don't have a third-team All-Star, but I put it up there because he was third in line for voting for the All-Star teams. So I thought that was noteworthy as well. He had a very good season. Again, this was his second best season offensively. So we go through the lockout season of 04-05. We go into 05-06. 38 games played. It's a shortened season for him. 16 goals, 29 assists, 45 points. In terms of points per game, one of his best seasons. And if he'd played the whole season, who knows? But he decides, you know what, I'm going to test the free agent waters. So he gets offers from the Montreal Canadiens and New York Rangers. And he got very serious about an offer with the New York Rangers. But Glenn Sather said, I'm not giving you a no movement clause. He's like, well, I need a no movement clause. And Sather's like, well, you're not getting it from me. So Elias called back to Lou Lamoriello and said, all right, let's work out a deal. And they signed a 7-year extension. And he would retire as a Devil. Can you imagine if he'd gone to the Rangers? Yeah, it would have been weird. Now, 06-07, the start of his very expensive contract, 75 games, 21 goals, 48 assists, 69 points. He was named the Devils' captain prior to that season. And so he is the face of the franchise. Goal scoring, he has more struggles with his goal scoring that year than in any year since 98-99, but his overall points total is still excellent. 07-08, 74 games, 20 goals, 35 assists, 55 points. And this, again, is an example of why I see him as a very good player for a very long time. But, again, when you talk about that Hall of Fame, it gets tricky. It's that dividing line, and it's, you know, how the voters feel about this, how they look at his overall body of work. And we've got more to talk about with that. 08-09, he has a big resurgence offensively. 77 games, 31 goals, 47 assists, 78 points. So excellent season there for a New Jersey team that's has its good years and its bad years along the way. He's a pretty consistent one. I don't remember hearing a lot of complaints about Elias as he got older. 09-10, 58 games played, 19 goals, 29 assists, 58 points. Or 48 points, I should say, so a little less than a point a game there. 2010-2011, 81 games, 21 goals, 41 assists, 62 points. 2011-2012, he has another resurgence, and he ends up being in the top 10 for scoring. 81 games, 26 goals, 52 assists, which is 7th in the National Hockey League that year. 78 points, which is 10th in the National Hockey League that year. So he continues to be a top 10 player. And again, if you're a Devils fan, you absolutely love everything this guy brings. And he is the captain, the face of the franchise. And of course, with the 2 Stanley Cup rings, that may very well be a defining factor if they decide to enshrine him in the Hall. That they look at it and they say, you know what, those 2 Stanley Cups, he's an important part of both. He goes into the Hall. Now, the following season, 2012-2013, lockout shortened season. So we've been through shortened seasons before. 48 games, 14 goals, 22 assists, 36 points. And then it's a matter of staying healthy. He plays 65 games the following year, 18 goals, 35 assists, 53 points. The following season, 69 games played. Again, issue staying healthy. 13 goals, 21 assists, 34 points, as he is slowed down at that point quite a bit. The following season, he only played 16 games, 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. Again, the slowing down, and then he would announce his retirement in 2017. So once, 2015, 2016 is done, we know his career is finished at that point. But for Elias, really in all honesty, you've got the 2 cups. You've got first team All-Star in 2000-2001. He does have a record for the Devils in points. They retired his number on February 24th, 2018. So, again, these are all important things that if you're going to put together a resume and say, hey, Hall of Fame committee put him in, these are things you can put in there. He was in the All-Star game 4 times, 2000, 2002, 2011, and 2015. Playoff numbers, 162 games played, 45 goals, 80 assists, 125 points overall. So good playoff numbers. He had 80 game-winning goals in his career, which is 35th on the all-time list. Not bad. He had 10 20-goal seasons, 4 30-goal seasons, and 1 40-goal season. So, again, the numbers are overall pretty good. Never hit 50. 40 was the highest he got. He is second in points by a Czech Republic-born player behind Jaromír Jágr. People may have heard of Jaromír Jágr. He's pretty darn good. And He has 37 career overtime points, which I was reading as being the tops overall. So again, he had a very good career. He had, I think it was 16 power play or 16 overtime goals in his career during the regular season. And yeah, captain, one of the ultimate faces of the New Jersey Devils. He was the first forward that they retired a number of. They retired, I think it was 5 numbers at that point, and he was the first forward to get his number retired. And a very, very good player for a very long time. And I guess the question I have for you, fine, wonderful people out there, is he played 1,240 games, which is 96th all time, 408 goals, which is 92nd, 617 assists, which is 84th, 1,025 points, which is 81st. So does he warrant Hall of Fame consideration to the point where you say, yeah, he gets in there? Or do we look at it and say he had a very good career, he's a very good player who played on some excellent teams, and that's how he'll be remembered? I don't know if he goes into the Hall of Fame, so I'll throw him in mine, because why not? There's room in my Hall of Fame. I have no problem throwing him in there. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comment section below, because he is one of those players who during this past era, has had an excellent career, but how great do you have to be to get into the Hall of Fame, or does this qualify? So there you go. Let me know your thoughts. Do hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.